Engage! Engage! Roger, did you get my visual?
Former Israeli soldiers are fighting on the side of the armed forces of Ukraine.
The Yanks are coming. Former U.S. soldiers are signing up to fight the Russian military.
I'm from the UK.
Thailand knows a thing or two about fighting for its democracy.
I have been involved in demanding democracy in my country and opposing tyranny. Ukrainians are also fighting for democracy and are now invaded by a superpower and a tyrant. I want to tell Ukrainians that you are not fighting alone. If we all join together, please wait. We are in the process of coming to help you.
Breaking news right now of Japanese volunteers ready to fight for Ukraine.
16,000 foreign mercenaries from different regions of the planet are going to Ukraine. More than 20,000 foreign mercenaries may be deployed on the territory of Ukraine in the near future. At the moment, there are reports that several thousand foreign mercenaries from private military companies are already here, and according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, another 16,000 foreign mercenaries are currently planned to enter the country. This indicates direct intervention in the situation, and not only from the West and the United States, but also from other states, since, according to a number of data, the so-called volunteers follow not only from Europe, but also from such regions of the planet as Asia, Africa, etc. Ukraine is already welcoming foreign volunteers. The first of 16,000 are coming to the country. They are coming to defend our freedom, declared Zelensky. At the same time, experts do not exclude that Zelensky's statement may be provocative. 16,000 foreign mercenaries, whom Zelensky calls volunteers, is a huge army. It is very unlikely that such a number of volunteers will actually arrive in Ukraine. With his statement, Zelensky can only try to raise his spirits, since so far the armed forces of Ukraine are suffering losses, notes the specialist Avia.pro. At the same time, foreign mercenaries have previously published photographs of their presence in Ukraine, which is a very serious concern.
The Yanks are coming. Former U.S. soldiers are signing up to fight the Russian military. These Ukrainian resistance fighters are being trained by retired U.S. Army General Paul Gray from Tyler, Texas. He spoke with Inside Edition from a secret location in Ukraine. Sergeant Gray previously served in the legendary 101st Airborne.
Me and a platoon of Americans are trying to train as many Ukrainians as possible for combat operations, for guerrilla warfare, for insurgency. And we're trying to kill as many people that are trying to kill Ukrainians.
45-year-old Andrew Bennett, a carpenter from Bayonne, New Jersey, is also volunteering. Are you planning on jumping right into the fray? Are you planning on fighting?
I'm not going over there to play Rambo. I'm going over there because I'm able-bodied, I'm strong, I'm fit. I can carry people, I can drag people off the floor, I can bandage people up.
About 16,000 volunteers from the U.S. and other countries have already joined Ukraine's struggle for freedom. It's turning into an epic David versus Goliath war. It's claimed the Russians have lost 11,000 soldiers and 285 tanks so far. This is the moment a Russian helicopter was brought down by a Ukrainian missile. Ukraine also claims to have sunk a Russian warship in the Black Sea port of Odessa. And these soldiers are firing at a Russian drone. A New York Times reporting team was just a few yards away when a Russian shell exploded.
Stay there!
All right.
Tragically, a woman and her 2 children were killed. Thousands of civilians, mostly women and children, are fleeing the fighting under artillery fire. This baby was rushed to the ER with shrapnel wounds, but he didn't make it. And there are also moments that are inspiring the world. This bride and groom were married in their military gear. This young musician's haunting violin solo lifted spirits in a bomb shelter. And this little girl in a shelter is singing Let It Go from Frozen in Ukrainian. Just listen to the reaction.
Bravo, bravo! Умница! Умница!
Former Israeli soldiers are fighting on the side of the armed forces of Ukraine. The Israeli news publication Ynet reports that former Israeli military from the elite units of the IDF are fighting on the side of Ukrainian troops and radicals, including groups recognized as terrorist in Russia. As it became known, we are talking about a group of volunteers who decided to join the Ukrainian troops. According to the Israeli publication Ynet, we are even talking about former soldiers of the Israeli Special Unit Golani. At the same time, given the apparent absence of any criticism from Israel, this should clearly raise a lot of questions about interference in the Russian special operation. Among other things, it is also reported that in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine ultra-Orthodox Jews join, which raises a lot of questions why these actions are not condemned in Israel.
I'm from the UK, sort of north area of the UK, Manchester, that area. And basically we're here because of the war crimes that are being committed. Obviously the president asked if he can help, and I started to think about it, and then I started to read the war crimes, and that's when it gets sickening.
I told all my family, they were obviously worried but supportive. But anyone that's doubted where I'm going, like why I'm going, I've been setting my mind of why I'm going, and I know it's a just cause.
I was over in Iraq, and yeah, I was there for a few months, and then flew home, saw my missing kids, hadn't seen them for a while, and basically said, yeah, I'm going to Ukraine. So big shock, and I feel a bit sorry for them, to be fair. I know they were pretty upset, but you know, people need me here. We're going to wait, to be honest, and see what the situation is as we get further in. It's all going to depend on how well the Ukrainians are doing in different parts, and also, you know, where they need us. You know, if they need us to be an independent unit because of the specialist skills within, you know, each group and each team that comes out. This is why I said before about making sure enough people who have previous military experience, you know, people who are specialised in quite big things, if they come and join us, then Jesus, you know, they're going to be able to. How you doing? Thank you. Yes, thanks, buddy. You know, if they could come, then yeah, who knows? Maybe an independent unit is what gets formed.
I think that when I was sitting down and sitting and live for a while, then I kind of started doubting myself, but at the same time, you need to make forward progress. And so I'm not doubting myself at all whatsoever. It's more so I'm remembering my training and also going over things that I can do and help out with, like just in case whatever the scenario is. And so then I'm remembering my training. I'm trying to go over what the plan of action is and also my plan if there's something bad should happen, what I'm going to do because of that. So that's essentially what I've been running through instead of thinking about why I'm afraid or why this, why that. So if you start thinking that way, then you're going to be distracted. You just stay focused. And so that's why I've been going over the things in my head to keep positive and to also trying to help others.
Thailand knows a thing or two about fighting for its democracy. These former Thai Air Force members are now political activists, known for leading protests in 2020 against the military-backed government. Now they see a need for their services in Ukraine.
I have been involved in demanding democracy in my country and opposing tyranny. Ukrainians are also fighting for democracy and are now invaded by a superpower and a tyrant. So I asked myself what I could do for them. This is the reason why I applied.
Chanapong Pongpai has started recruiting others to join him. In just one day, he says he received 2,000 names of people interested in volunteering.
We fight for democracy here. They fight for their democracy there. We are like friends. It's the same feeling, the same ideology. To me, it's unfair to the Ukrainian people because the attack happened not only at a military base, but also at hospitals, kindergarten schools, and civilian areas. This is the reason why I want to go help them. If you ask me whether I'm scared to get killed, of course I'm scared.
The Ukrainian embassy in Bangkok is tasked with vetting the recruits. They need to provide proof of military training and have a clean criminal record. Pong Pai said his training from 2 years in the Air Force could help the Ukrainians protect civilians, guard areas, and secure supply lines.
I want to tell Ukrainians that you are not fighting alone. Many people want to help you. Don't lose hope and feel that the world has abandoned you. Even if we are not a superpower, even if we are only a small light, we can shine a bright light to help you if we all join together. Please wait. We are in the process of coming to help you.
Thailand was among 141 countries at the United Nations General Assembly that voted to reprimand Russia for invading Ukraine and demand Moscow stop fighting and withdraw its military forces. While it's not clear if Pong Pai or his friends will be accepted to help Ukraine, they've already begun to prepare, offering help from an unlikely corner of the world. Leah Harding, Al Jazeera.
Breaking news right now of Japanese volunteers ready to fight for Ukraine. About 70 volunteers from Japan, including 50 former members of the self-defense forces, have expressed a desire to respond to the call of the Ukrainian authorities and join the ranks of the Foreign Legion, the Japanese newspaper Mainichi, citing a source at the Ukrainian embassy in Tokyo. On February 21st, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed decrees recognizing the sovereignty of the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, and on February 24th he announced the start of a military operation to demilitarize Ukraine. On February 27th, Vladimir Zelensky announced the creation of a combat unit to be staffed by foreigners. On the same day, the Ukrainian embassy in Japan announced recruitment of volunteers on its Twitter page.
16,000 foreign mercenaries from different regions of the planet are going to Ukraine. More than 20,000 foreign mercenaries may be deployed on the territory of Ukraine